Hi guys, I came on here to discuss how to get your CDL Class B. The procedures that I'm gonna tell you will probably apply to multiple CDLs, but I only could speak for a Class B because I'm a bus operator. Here's my badge, so I'm definitely qualified to tell you guys about having a CDL. Well, first, in order to get your CDL, you have to get your permit. So in order to get your permit, you have to go to whatever state you live in. And for instance, I live in Missouri. So with me living in Missouri, I go to the DMV, and when I go to the DMV, I'll ask them, "Hey, I need a CDL book," because that's also the book that you will look at for your license or anything like that. So when I ask them for the CDL book, I'll go home and look over it, but some of the information is kind of foreign to me because I don't know anything about trucks, or most of that stuff is tractor trailer, semi stuff. But you want to glance in the front of that particular CDL book, and it's going to tell you which sections to look at, like for general knowledge and everything else. And it's going to go off which CDL you're trying to get. So with a Class B, you have to take your general knowledge test, and you have to get your permit before you can get your license. Just like when you do a driver's license, you have to literally get your permit first, because how are you going to train on a big vehicle if you can't drive the vehicle? You can't drive the vehicle without a permit. Now, I don't know what other people be doing when they know somebody that got the semi or they own bus. They may let them drive it, but legally, you're not supposed to do that until you have that permit. So in this CDL book, you're gonna literally see everything. You're gonna see chapters for endorsements. You're gonna see general knowledge information. You're gonna see a pre-test. You're gonna see a lot of maneuvers, like actual visuals of maneuvers and whatever they're trying to teach you. And you just gotta find your section, the section that you need. So for my type of job, I drive a public transit bus. And for a public transit bus, I drive anywhere from a 30-foot bus, which is like the smaller bus, up to a 60-foot bus, which is like an accordion bus. In Missouri, we don't have those double-decker buses. We have those accordion buses, with the extra long tail on it. We have those. Now, depending on the route you have at my job, that depends on what type of bus you have. Because, like, for instance, you can't have a 30-foot bus on a heavy line, or you can't have the 60-foot bus and you have to make a lot of turns or tight turns. It's not going to work. Oh, also, let you guys know, even though I said that this is like getting your driver's permit, you can get your driver's permit at 15, 16, whatever it is for your state. You cannot get a CDL license at 18. So let's say until you're 18. So let's say you were able to get the permit. You can't get the license till you're 18. So nobody's going to want no 15-year-old, 16-year-old behind the wheel of their truck or their bus or their box truck. So when you go in the DMV to take your test, they're going to ask you, what are you taking this CDL test for? Well, it's not the DMV. I forgot. It's like Highway Patrol or something like that. It's not the DMV, the place where you get your actual copy or you pay for your license. It's not that place. Well, not in Missouri. It's not. It's like Highway Patrol, where you take the actual driver's test for like a car. So when you actually go in there, they're going to ask you, well, what are you trying to get a CDL for? And you'll say bus, truck. I'm trying to drive this. That's what they need to know, so they know which test to provide you. When they provide you the test, they're going to take your photo. They take your photo for your paperwork. So, like, if you pass, they give you a sheet and it shows your scores and it has your picture on there. So nobody can say, well, this is mine, I passed. No, that's not your picture. So when they take your picture, they're going to tell you which seat to sit down at. So when you take your permit test, you can take it on paper, but so me, when I took mine, I prefer to do it on a computer and like choose like multiple choice. They give you headphones so you can concentrate, because a lot of that stuff that you're looking at is mostly truck stuff. Even though you're getting your class B, it's still mostly truck stuff, like semis and stuff. And so you gotta concentrate on the answers. Like, I'm thinking real hard. So you don't want no distractions. You don't want any noise. So you'll have headphones, and then general knowledge, if I'm not mistaken, that's the first test that you would take no matter which CDO you get, no matter if it's A, B, or C. You're going to take general knowledge. That just is what it is. They want to make sure you know something about what you're trying to do. Now, when I did my CDL, I could not retain that information like that. I couldn't hold on. It wasn't sticking because it wasn't nothing that I was familiar with. And I took mine when I was 21 or 22, and it wasn't sticking with me. I wasn't getting it. Like, I'm like, how am I supposed to know this stuff? It's a lot to study. I don't get it. But here's the trick. I'm going to tell you how the trick. So they give you twice to take the test. So when you take your CDL, the general knowledge, you fail the first time, right? You only could get 4 wrong or 5 wrong out of 30 questions or something like that when you fail the test. They'll let you do it twice a day. And when you do it twice a day, the second time they'll put the back end of the test on the front of the test. So these are not the questions you've seen before. So you still may fail. But guess what? You come back tomorrow, you get to take it twice again. And guess what? It's the same questions. So all I did once I figured that out is memorize questions. Or memorize a portion of that question or that answer that it was when I did it. But also, when I took my general knowledge test, I also had to take my endorsements with it. Because if you don't take your endorsements, you still can't train to do whatever job you're trying to do. So for a bus operator, Class B bus operator, not a shuttle driver, not a chauffeur, not none of that. Class B bus operator, you need passenger, because of course that is your cargo, which is people, passengers. And then you need air brakes, because that bus is equipped with air brakes. You got to be familiar with the air brakes and the PSI and all that stuff. But for those 2 tests, it's also the same thing. It's also the exact same thing. You mess up twice today, go back tomorrow, retake. It's the same questions. You just got to be patient and use your brain and remember it. That's it. That's how I passed. And I've had to take my CDL twice. I just took it again last year. So we're in January of 2025. I just took it again the year before last in October. After having it for 10 years, I had to retake it again. And that's because I didn't have a DOT on file, but I'll talk to you guys about that DOT in another video. You gotta have that on file, or they'll retract your CDL. So you know how I'm saying that the general knowledge, it's like more questions than the endorsement test. Then the endorsements, then the passenger and air brakes, those are 2 separate tests. So let's say you pass one and not the other 2. Let's say you pass passenger, but you don't pass air brakes and the general knowledge. They'll give you, when you're finished, they'll give you a piece of paper showing that you passed. Like, this is your proof to show that you passed at least one of those tests, so you don't have to redo it. Because if you don't have that paper, you will have to redo it. So you got the paper showing that you passed. That's checked off and out the way. And then you just keep going back every single day until you pass the rest. Because it's going to be the same questions. You're going to say, wait a minute, I remember when I was talking about the trailer going uphill. I remember the answer was B. Because nothing really changes. Like, maybe sometimes the order of the answers or the options may change, but it really doesn't change. If someone stays the same, they'll just mix the questions up. And you want to take the CDL that second time, because if you take it that second time, you can see the back end of the questions. You don't want to take it and fail and then just give up that first time. But you say, I want to go back, but you never seen what the back end of the questions look like. Now, they do have a skip option. Like, you can't remember it, or you can't figure it out, or you scared to answer it, and you can skip it. But you only can skip so many times. You gonna run out of questions. You only can skip one time, like through. You can't skip through again. So that ain't an option, you know. And some stuff is like common sense if you really think about it. But some stuff is like, what the H? What are they talking about? But all you gotta do is pass this CDL so you can go get in training. Because they're gonna train you to get your license. All you gotta do is pass the CDL. And why would you not remember the questions or try to remember the ones you messed up on? Like, pick something in that question to make you go, oh, that was a question from last time. Whether it's a number, like I say 1/4 or 30 miles per hour, or find something in that question that helps you remember when you see it again. Because they give you the answer. Like, when you mess up and you get the wrong answer, they'll give you the right answer after. See, that's it. People think that getting your CDL is really hard. I used to be scared of doing my CDL. I was studying that book back, forwards, upwards, downwards in my sleep. Having dreams about it, movies about it. Everything you could think of. And I didn't really have a cell phone at that time. That's why I was looking for a job. So I didn't have a cell phone to help me, like, go through it. I had to do some just regular studying. But then when I got there, I realized I still didn't know it. So I said, oh, wow, I wish somebody was telling me the information that I'm giving you guys. All I got to do is remember the questions. It's the same questions. Same question. And you can take it twice a day as long as they're open. If they open Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, you can go Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, take that test twice a day. You ain't got to wait. When you already on the computer taking your test, they'll ask you, you want to take it again? You say, yes. Yes, don't get frustrated. You missing out on your money when you're getting frustrated. So I'm trying to give y'all a little bit a heads up or ahead of the game so you know what to do. That's all. I didn't have nobody telling me this stuff. So that's what I'm telling you. Or all of y'all. Whoever want to get their CDL and drive. You don't necessarily have to drive a bus. It's the same procedure for Class ABC. You gotta go get that permit. Because you could ride with a licensed driver, but you cannot drive. The best way to learn is through experience. So how can you learn if you can't experience the situation or the feeling? You ain't gonna be able to. So let's say you pass all of them and you good. So guess what now? Now you gotta go to the actual DMV. I said that earlier, but you gotta go to DMV now because we gotta pay for that permit that you need. So When we go in there, you can present them with your ID, which might be just your driver's license or your actual ID. It should be your driver's license. That's what it should be. Your driver's license, you're going to present your driver's license to them and that piece of paper that Highway Patrol gave you. So when they give you that paper and you give it to them, you basically saying, I'm ready to pay for my permit. And when you pay for your permit, they're going to give you like a paper copy of it while they send the hard copy in the mail. And I think it's, if I'm not mistaken, it's like $30 something. And that depends on where you live. I think here in Missouri, it was like $35 or something like that. And it would look something like this. I got one of my old permits. I just happen to have one to show you guys. Now I'm going to cover up my name and address. Y'all won't be trying to find me. But you see, if you can see that. See how it says learner's permit? And this was actually for my class A, because I went to truck driving school for a little bit. So I had to get a permit for the class A. And they basically look the same. The only difference is they may have a different color on top. Like, I'm looking now at my driver's license, and the commercial driver part is green. So like on the permit, again, I'm gonna show you again. On the permit right there is brown, or like a brick brown red color. But on one of my old licenses, it is green. Let me show you. See? So it'll say all the everything that you have now. The only thing that it won't say, like the endorsement wise, is that you have air brakes. Even though you passed the test for air brakes, they will not load that up on your permit, well, your license, because once you fulfill the requirement to get that on something, it'll be your license. They will not put that on there until you have passed the test to get your license. But they have it in their system that you're able to train on a vehicle that has air brakes. Now, the air brakes test is not a lot of questions, but it was a little up there. But like I said, same thing. All you do, memorize questions. And so with your permit, they'll send it through the mail. It'll just be looking like a plain envelope, and you can feel it. Your ID. I don't know if anyone ever got an ID in the mail, because at first they used to print them off at the DMV, not no more. And that's it. I think also you'll have to provide a piece of mail for your permit, for your CDL permit, and you eventually have to get your DOT. We'll discuss DOT in another video, because the DOT is very important. I think it stands for Department of Transportation, but it's important to have. Most everywhere that I know of or heard of, like bus operators or semi-truck tractor trailer drivers, they have their DOT physical. So I'll discuss that with you guys about that DOT physical, because I've done this a lot, but I can't remember, like, permit wise. I think you do have to have your yes, you have to have your DOT physical. So I'm going to discuss that DOT physical in another video, but the DOT physical goes along hand in hand with your CDL, because they don't want you to operate a big vehicle if you are not fit enough to drive that big vehicle. And I'm not talking about like, I ain't talking about like that. I'm talking about like, you know, your heart is okay and your mind is okay, like sleep apnea. But we'll get into that. I'll discuss all of that with you guys. I'm gonna make another video on it, and watch that one so you can know exactly what you need just to start. Have a good day.